Alright, what is going on guys? Gino Checker back in for another video today, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys a shredding grocery haul. I figured it'd be a nice idea to give you guys some ideas on the foods that you can buy yourself to make it easier to hit your macronutrient targets for the day in order to lose fat and get shredded while not being too hungry on a day. What a lot of people struggle with, especially when they're dieting, is the hunger feel and the cravings. And as some context about me personally, I'm currently 3.5 weeks out from my first ever natural bodybuilding competition, and I'm not really that hungry. Of course I have some cravings, but I contribute that a lot to being at a kind of lower body fat at the moment. So it's not that these foods make me hungry, it's quite the contrary. These foods fill me up and they allow me to hit my macronutrient targets for the day a lot easier. So I've put all the foods that I got for pretty much the coming week on the list right here. And I'm going to be taking you guys through every single food that I eat to get shredded. Right? Not looking too shabby. So like I said, I'm currently 3.5 weeks out from my first ever bodybuilding competition, and I'm looking pretty on point, even if I say so myself. So to give you guys an idea on the foods that you can eat yourself in order to get leaner and lose body fat, I'm going to be showing you guys everything that I get in order to hit my macros and get leaner. So first of all, here's a quick overview of the foods that I pretty much get on a week-to-week basis. So I'm going to be listing the foods in order from breakfast to lunch. I don't really have lunch, but I'll just name it a lunch in a particular, to my dinner meal, and then pretty much some random things that allow me to hit my macros a lot easier and not be hungry all the time. So first and foremost, we have some oatmeal and some all bran. Now if you have been subscribed to my channel for a longer while, you would already know that I really love to eat all bran. All bran contains a lot of fiber, and I'll actually grab the macros right here. For 100 grams you have 3.2 grams of fat, 63 grams of carbs, 15 grams of them being fiber, and 12 grams of protein. Now, fiber is a very important aspect to dieting and pretty much health in general. In terms of digestion and feeling full overall, fiber helps with that. Fiber helps you to get that satiating feeling. So for example, if you're hungry after breakfast, it might be a smart idea to up the amount of fiber that you have in your breakfast so that you don't have to think about food for pretty much a couple of hours after that meal. Fiber also has a higher TEF rating, which means that when you eat fiber, your body has to work a little bit harder, which would mean it will burn more calories or expend more energy in order to digest it. So it'll be in your system for a longer time, hence you being more satiated for a longer period of time, and you pretty much burn more calories by eating fiber, simply because it takes a lot more energy for your body to digest it. So pro tip, up the fiber in order to be less hungry and potentially even burn a little bit more calories. But that's the all bran. But since I'm now 3.5 weeks out and I really like to eat hot food, since you're pretty much cold 24/7 if you're getting to a lower body fat, what I like to eat as of late is oatmeal. Now there isn't any specific reason that I'm switching from all bran to oats, other than the fact that oats are heated up with hot water. Now you can do it with milk if you prefer to do that, but I like to do it with hot water to spare some carbs and some protein for the end of the day. So I take around 100 grams of oats normally, put some whey in there, some cacao powder, 2 bananas obviously, and then mix it all up, and I have some hot stuff to eat in order to heat my system up and fuel my workout with pretty much a lot of carbs. So that is the oatmeal. Also contains a heck load of fiber. Then I have bananas. I eat 2 bananas every single day, and also not for any specific reason other than the fact that it's fruit, it has a lot of micronutrients, so it's good for health benefits, and since it contains a pretty high amount of carbs, I like to eat it before my workout to give myself a carb boost, refuel my glycogen, and have enough energy and glycogen to use during the workout of the day. And also because bananas just taste very good and I like them. And they also contain a lot of potassium. Now potassium is one of those minerals that gets overlooked a lot. What a lot of people don't know is the mix between potassium and sodium need to be at a pretty constant level in order for you to get better blood flow, get a better pump, and actually see some veins. Because if you eat, for example, too much sodium, you'll hold water. But if the potassium levels are pretty much up to par with the amount of sodium that you take in, you will see more veins more often. So they kind of complement each other in that way, that you don't hold water if you eat too much sodium. So up the potassium by, for example, eating bananas, eating potatoes, and so forth. Then we have some skimmed milk, or 0% fat milk if you will. This is something that I like to eat with the all bran bowl. You can go for half fat milk if you like that more, but in general I do recommend you to spare the macros and just go for 0% fat milk, since if you mix it with whey, for example, or anything that you want to mix it with, you don't really taste that much difference in my opinion. So just go for the leanest option there is, in my opinion. So that's pretty much all the breakfast things that I have. Next up, one of the most important aspects of my diet, especially here on the channel, quark. Now, I like to call it quark. I've actually researched the American or English name and it is quark, if I'm not mistaken. But most people often refer to it as cottage cheese or Greek yogurt or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it has very good macros, and especially for the protein. So per 100 grams you have 50 calories, 4 grams of carbs, and 8.4 grams of protein. So for an entire tub, you're looking at 45 grams of protein. If you have struggles getting in your protein for the day, I highly recommend you to get cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, or quark, or whatever you want to call it. Just look in the grocery store, find the 0% fat option, because normally they contain a little bit of fat with it, as for any other yogurt in that particular. So grab the one that has high protein, low to moderate carbs, and 0 fat, and you will hit your protein if you eat enough of these. Alright, so next up, rice cakes. I eat a lot of rice cakes, and also not for any particular reason other than the fact that they are very low carb. They're around 6 or 8 grams of carbs per rice cake, so that's pretty low carb in my opinion, and they are very good to snack on. Like for example, if you have some carbs left over at night, you can basically just crack some up, put them in a bowl and just snack on them as if you're eating crisps, but then low carb, and it allows you to hit your macros and not mess up on your diet. And you can basically spread it out with whatever you want as well. So if you have some fats left, just spread some peanut butter on there or some light jam or whatever. You can make it as fun as you want as long as it fits your macros, and it tastes pretty good as well. Alright, pro tip. If you think that your food is bland, especially dinner meals with, for example, potatoes or rice, sriracha. Sriracha tastes so good if you like spicy food, not to mention. Put some sriracha on there. It's pretty low carb. Per serving you're looking at 15 calories and 3.3 grams of carbs, which is pretty low carb in my opinion, and it adds a lot of flavor for the amount of carbs that you're sacrificing, for that matter. So that is sriracha. Really major key in my diet. Then I have a bread. I really love eating bread. I like to sacrifice the carbs, if you will, for bread, and especially with, let me grab her, Nutella. I have been eating the legendary Nutella sandwich pretty much since the start of prep up until now, and I'm going to keep it in pretty much until show day, I believe. You do not have to cut out any food out of your diet if you manage to fit it in your macros. So a sandwich with Nutella is something that I can fit in easily. It allows me to not crave it and just simply keep it in there, man. And it makes dieting a lot easier if you eat foods that you actually enjoy instead of dreading everything that you're eating. Next up is peanut butter. Now, peanut butter is another one of those things that a lot of people tend to neglect since it's pretty high fat, but fats are not the enemy. You can easily use some peanut butter on a sandwich or on your rice cake or whatever, as long as it fits in your macros. And it doesn't really matter what kind of peanut butter you use. I know a lot of people like to use biological peanut butter or pure peanut butter without any added sweetening or whatever. But I like to just pick some normal peanut butter. It fits my macros easily, I like the taste of it, and if there are some healthier options I will get them, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference in my opinion. What I also use a lot, pretty much every day in my all bran or oat bowl is cacao powder. Now this is unsweetened cacao powder, so there's no sugar added in it, and on its own it doesn't really taste that good, to be honest, but it gives your food that chocolate taste, and it contains a lot of antioxidants because of the cacao powder, and I just think it tastes very good overall. And then what I also really like to do, especially in my dinner meals, is add vegetables. Just grab some cabbage or some lettuce or whatever you want to call it. Grab a cucumber or grab some spinach, whichever vegetable you prefer, and add it to your meals. It adds pretty much neglectable calories, and you should track it if you eat a lot of it, but green leaves, spinach, cabbage, lettuce, romaine lettuce, whatever you want, add it to your meals, add it as a base, and then put your potatoes or your rice and your chicken or whatever on top of it, and it adds a lot of volume. It fills you up. It allows you to get that full feeling that you might be craving and make dieting a lot easier. So lettuce, cucumber, of course a major protein source in the diet is chicken. Now what I will also sometimes use is some ground beef, and then of course the lean option. But most of the time I like to stick to chicken. It's pretty much zero fat and pure protein, and it allows me to hit my macros. It fills me up. And you can season it however you want. So say for example, you can use some, some paprika powder, add some salt, add some pepper, perhaps some granulated onion and garlic. You can make it as fun as you want, as long as it fits in your macros. But just be careful that you're not using too much salt or sodium. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because you need it. It's an important aspect of your diet and general blood flow. But keep in mind, if you eat too much of it, you will hold water, and that will throw off your weigh-in for the next day. Then I have some zero sugar gingerbread. Now I haven't been eating too much of these, simply because they are 13 carbs per serving, and the serving is pretty small in my opinion. But I like to sneak it in sometimes, as long as it fits my macros at the end of the day, if I have some carbs left over. And it kind of has that brownie texture, you know, it tastes a little bit sweet. It has some chew to it, and I most often use it in my bowl of quark with frozen fruit. So, before I forget, since they need to be in the freezer, I have frozen berries, mixed frozen berries. That's another big staple in my diet, since berries in particular contain very low calories, they're very low carb, and for the amount that you can use, it really boosts up the volume of your meal without adding in too much extra carbs. So I believe 250 grams, which is one of those serving packages, contains around 12.5 grams of carbs. And if you add that to a bowl of quark, for example, you add a lot of volume, it fills you up, and you get a lot of micronutrients and antioxidants, because berries contain a lot of them in general. And you can make it as good as you want. You can pick strawberries, you know, frozen strawberries, or fresh for that particular, if you prefer that. Blueberries, raspberries, whatever you want, as long as it fits your macros. Now one thing that I didn't get from the store this time, but do actually eat pretty much every single day, are potatoes. Now you can go for sweet potato or white potato, pretty much whichever one you prefer. I like to go for white potato, but sweet potato is a little bit sweeter, so sometimes I like to mix it up, but in general I like to go for white potatoes. And then I just cook them with hot water or fry them with a little bit of butter or oil. Just make it as fun as you want. And then another thing that I actually didn't get from the store but do eat on a pretty regular basis is basmati rice. Now, especially for rice, you're better off going for a whole grain option instead of going for white rice, simply because it fills you up more, it contains a lot more fiber, you feel satiated for a longer time, and if I am not mistaken, it contains a little bit lower carbs than your normal white rice, for example. And then I have these three bad boys right here. Some 0-calorie drinks, some diet soda. Now there is nothing wrong with diet soda. There have been a lot of studies done, and if I can find one, I'll actually link it right here. In order for it to be damaging to humans, you need to drink a lot of diet soda, or get a lot of artificial sweeteners in your system in general. Don't fear it, as long as you drink it in moderation. Now, diet sodas are another one of those things that make dieting a lot easier, since you have something to satisfy that sweet tooth and get something to fill you up, since it is carbonated, so it fills you up and it gets rid of a lot of cravings. I also eat a lot of broccoli. Now this broccoli is already halfway done, but I like to get broccoli to fill my system up, since you can pretty much eat a lot of broccoli for the calories that you're getting in, and it contains a lot of vitamins and minerals. Now I'm personally not eating that many eggs anymore, and also not for any particular reason, but I like to eat other foods at the moment that fill my macros up a little bit better and not too quickly, since for the amount of eggs that you might want to eat, you're sacrificing a lot of fat macros, and I like to fill those up with a lot of other options that you're seeing in the grocery haul right now. Alright, and that is my full shredding grocery haul right here. I sincerely hope I gave you guys some ideas on foods that you might want to get or might want to eat in order to reach your goals a lot easier and potentially faster without being too hungry and messing up on your diet. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to smash the like button, because it really helps out the channel grow. Comment down below and subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out. See you in the next one.